the coronavirus, Rob, if things ever do go back to any kind of normal. Just seeing on the local news today that they've already canceled the 4th of July celebration in my city. They said they can't afford it, for one, and then for two, they don't want large crowds gathering.
Right.
I've always thought it was funny seeing the videos from China where you'd see everybody wearing face masks in Japan and whatnot, but it's looking more and more like that could be our future here in America, where we just might always see people in face masks and whatnot. And you mentioned the hair salons earlier; they're taking temperature checks and whatnot. How long can this all go on? And do you think that things will never be the same again, basically?
I think there are some parts of life whereby things will never be the same. The face mask, I spoke to some associates, and their thought process is that they will continue to wear the face mask. Me, myself,
hate those
probably,
damn things.
Yeah, it's like you can't breathe. And they've now become like the social power of fashion, and people decorate them and all the other stuff, and I'm thinking, are you serious? You know, my take on this is that I think that there will be a certain segment of the population that will continue to wear the face mask. Living in New York City, when I'm getting on the subway, I think I'll probably put it on because people aren't the most hygienic. They'll sneeze, they'll cough, they don't cover their mouths. So yeah, I'll probably, when they do, if I start riding the subways again, I'll probably wear it. As far as out in the public, I don't know. I do know that there are some stores, grocery stores, on the door it says you have to cover up if you're going to come inside. And I can understand that to a degree because, again, I mean, who would have thought that we would have the government telling us and showing us how to wash our hands? So if they have to tell us how to wash our hands, of course, people aren't going to practice being hygienic when they're sneezing or they're coughing. They're just going to not cover their mouths. They're just going to cough, and everyone's going to get the cough that they're doing. So, and even when you go to restaurants before all of this, you would see all employees must wash their hands. And I'm thinking, well, I would think they would do it. You know, so how will things be after all this is over? I mean, we'll probably still have the mask. They'll become part of our fashion staple. And you look at countries like Saudi Arabia, whereby the women are wearing these facial masks. That's what's happening to us. We'll be the same thing, whereas it won't just be women, it will be men, women, and children. And why is this happening? Well, think about 9/11. Why is it that when you go outside, you see all these barricades around buildings? At one point, they were just like these empty slabs of stone, and then they started to decorate them. And it's like, why do we have this around buildings? Because someone from a foreign country decided to come over here and be bad actors. So we have to protect ourselves. So fast forward now, when all of this is over. People wearing masks, and you have to go into a building, you have to have your temperature check, or you can't do this unless this happens. You go to the airport, you can't get out because unless this happens. Look at the security we have to go through. Why? Because we have foreign actors that are coming here that are doing this, and no one wants to call them out. They have to be held accountable. The Chinese people didn't do this, but the China government sure as hell did. And I think they knew a lot more than what they're telling us. So what happens after all of this? Well, let's hope that China is held accountable. While they're trying to dominate the entire world, we need to hold them accountable. And I think we can. If the global economy sticks together and says, hey, the buck stops with you. You guys caused this. Look at Japan. Look at what they're doing. They're incentivizing their companies to come back to Japan and leave China. We need to do the same thing. Germany needs to do the same thing, as well as the UK, Great Britain. We all need to do the same thing. Canada. We all need to stand together because we know that China is a bad actor and say, hey, the buck stops here. You caused this. And now that it's all over and we're waiting for some vaccine or whatnot, you know, you guys need to pay. Can you imagine kids that are born today having to stay in and never really feel the sunlight on their skin? Why? Because of the coronavirus. I mean, this has got to stop. People can't go out. Kids can't go out. They can't go into the beach. We've got to stay in. There's not going to be a summer. Like you said, your 4th of July parade is canceled. I think the big parades that we have here during the summer is the Macy's 4th of July fireworks. Mayor de Blasio said that he's in talks with them to see if he can continue it to make it happen. But then the other big parade is the Pride Parade. That's been canceled, and I know a lot of people aren't happy about that. But why is this happening? Because we have bad actors. What's going to happen after this? I mean, we've got to get back to some degree of normalcy and restore people's their rights so they can go outside and do what they need to do. I mean, can you imagine an entire summer just hemmed inside? I mean, as the weather gets nicer, you're going to have a lot more people in the streets saying, wait a minute, this is crazy. I can't go out unless the police comes and like, I'm going to give you a ticket. You're going to give me a ticket. In the meantime, you're letting a prisoner out. It's insane.
Mm-hmm. What scares me is after 9/11, it completely changed our system of going to the airport. You used to be able to go to the airport literally like a half hour before your flight. And you've got to show up at least 2 hours early, stand in a huge line to get through TSA where they give you a bunch of crap for having a water that's 2 ounces too big or something like that. And just... They also, I remember on Dateline like 10 years ago or something, they did a test where TSA doesn't even catch like 95% of the weapons that get passed through there. It's just a complete waste of services. And it makes me worry, like now every time we go to a football game or whatever it may, a concert, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to get temperature checked, and the line's going to be ridiculous. It's going to take forever to get inside. And we've seen with the coronavirus, it takes sometimes 3 weeks before you even start showing any symptoms. So it's almost like the same situation with TSA, where it's like, is this all for naught? Yeah, it really scares me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I think that, you know, if we had level-minded people who would just step back, again, take Trump out of the equation and look at what they're doing to your civil liberties and realize that, you know, this is a bunch of craziness. I mean, yes, we have to be careful, okay, but there are ways of doing it whereby you don't have to keep people locked inside so they can't get out. You know, it's literally ridiculous. And then shutting down the economy and wanting to keep it shut down so that people can't work. And it's these liberal states that don't know how to govern. They're trying to make a quick buck by thinking, well, maybe the federal government, because we shut down, maybe they'll help us get out of our budget crisis because we blew up so much money on illegal aliens, helping them out in sanctuary cities. I mean, I don't want people to suffer, but we've got to look at this and say, hey, look, you guys caused this with your mismanagement of funds. Ms. Whitmer, you know, Cuomo, Newsom, trying to give all the money to illegals when you could have stopped that. Now you want the rest of us, my taxpayer dollars, to go to help bail you out? Come on, open up your businesses, start getting revenue, and you won't need a big handout from the government. Like, wake up, folks. We can't have welfare states. This is insane.